Chapter 14 Knowledge is Power. Let's learn History of Writing, History of Numbers, Story of Paper, Invention of Printing. We live in a world which is much more advanced and very different from the one in ancient times. The early man evolved himself and gradually learnt and invented many things. Initially, the knowledge was passed on from one generation to another only verbally. It did not prove to be much of a success as most of it got lost. Then, man slowly started drawing, painting, and writing what he knew. This way, it was recorded and could be communicated. History of Writing. Writing is the written representation of a spoken language. Initially, man drew paintings and pictures of animals and objects which are quite evidently seen in caves found in several countries including India. These depicted stories of events like hunting expeditions, celebrations, important social events, etc. Eventually, the pictures and paintings and symbols led to the development of script. Script is any particular system of writing or the written means of human communication. All languages are written in a specific script. The early scripts were mainly in the form of pictures and symbols. Cuneiform. Ancient Sumerians developed a script by inscribing simplified pictures on wet clay lumps to produce wedge-like impressions that represent word signs. When allowed to bake hard in the sun, the clay tablet became a permanent document. Hieroglyph. The Egyptian style of writing was called hieroglyphics. It used pictures to represent different objects, actions, sounds, or ideas. Evidences show that the Japanese, the Chinese, and the Korean scripts are also based on pictures. Indus Valley Civilization, that is India, Chinese civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, and Egyptian civilization are the oldest in the world. The script of Indus Valley Civilization has not yet been deciphered, but writings on seals proves that script existed at that period. The Brahmi script or the Indian script was developed nearly 2500 years ago, and most of the Indian scripts have originated from this script. Infohive. The word hieroglyph is made from two Greek words, hieros meaning holy and glyph meaning writing. So, hieroglyph means holy writing. Braille script. Louis Braille made a script for the blind in 1825. It was called the Braille script. Letters in the Braille are formed by raised dots on thick paper. By touching the raised dots with their fingers, the visually challenged people are able to read. Many books are available in the Braille scripts. History of numbers. Numbers and counting are an integral part of our everyday life. However, the early man counted by drawing figures, symbols, and dots. This system was not consistent and therefore its use faded away gradually. Today's decimal number system that we usually refer to as the Arabian numerals originated in India. The concept of zero or shunya also came from India. Today, this Hindu-Arabic system is used worldwide. Brain tickler. Name the script of Hindi and English. Story of paper. Do you know where the word paper came from? The origin of the word gives us a hint about the origin of paper itself. Paper is derived from papyrus, which the ancient Egyptian used to write on. Papyrus was a thick, paper-like material made of reeds, which grew commonly along the river Nile. Later the Chinese improved the paper further. It was made of cloth rags left over from the textile industry in early China. It was light, smooth, and could be written on in flowing ink. It could also be folded and rolled up. As books began to be printed, the demand for paper further increased. Nowadays, paper is made from wood pulp. Invention of printing press. In the beginning, paintings and symbols were used on the walls of caves. Later, symbolic scripts were engraved upon clay tablet and skin of animals. Subsequently, paper was used for writing. The early books were handwritten and it was a tedious and time-taking method. They were expensive too, because of which only limited people could buy and read them. The art of printing originated in China about 1500 years ago, but this method was not much of a success. Later in 1443, Johannes Gutenberg invented the first printing press. He made small metal molds of the letter of the alphabet. They were called types. These types could be arranged to form words, lines, and pages known as typesetting. On typeset pages, ink was used and pressed on paper to get the print impression. Once the book was printed, the individual types were taken apart and were reused again. Info Hive. Paper is obtained from trees. Trees are precious. We should not waste paper. The Bible was the first book to be printed by Gutenberg. This method made the printing process easier and a large number of books could be printed in less time and at lower cost. Today the quality of printing has improved and we have colorful books, magazines and newspapers printed across the world. These books are now available to people at a very reasonable price. InfoHive. A person who studies writing scripts is called an epigrapher. Brain tickler. In which language was the first Bible printed? Recap. Many early drawings and paintings have been found in the caves of France, Spain, and India. Script is any particular system of writing or the written means of human communication. India gave the concept of zero to the world. Egyptian first made paper from the papyrus plant. Modern paper was invented in China. Johannes Gutenberg, a German, invented the printing press. Life skills. Ma'am, these children cannot see. How are they able to study? Dear, they study with the help of Braille script. It is specially designed for visually challenged people. That is nice. I will also help them in learning so that they can excel in their studies. That is so kind of you, Shreya. We should always help out people who are genuinely in need. Values for life. Whenever you sit down to read or write, bear it in mind that a lot of effort was put in by generations of people to make learning and teaching of knowledge much more easier for us. Respect these efforts, respect the books you read, and do not ever waste paper.